But tonight I came with some few ones here, and then accompanied with my wife's own. So let me talk about my wife's own first. My wife, her name is Elsie Dankwa, and my wife have written some books. She's got one here. The title of this one is Youth Rise Up. This is from my wife, Elsie. And then my wife has got a book here. The title of this one is The Heart of a Pastor's Wife. That means if you're a pastor's wife, or if you want to be or become a pastor's wife, you should have this book and you should read it. Okay. You should have this book and read it. The Heart of a Pastor's Wife. And then I came with a few of my books, like I said. I have here, Your Time is the Best, O Lord. Your time is the best, O Lord. And I'm talking about, in this book, I'm talking about times and seasons. Everybody shout time and season. Come on, shout to say time and season. And shout it, my time will come. Now turn to somebody sitting beside you and tell the person, your time will come. People are marrying, you too, your time will come. Somebody has bought a house, you too, your time will come. Somebody's a preacher today with 10,000 seater church, you too, your time will come. Somebody is owing something, you too, your time will come. Until you come to the point of understanding that in this life we live by times and seasons. Look, you see, the thing is that seeing somebody walking in their time, don't be jealous. Always know that your time will come. You are driving the best. I am not jealous of you. I clap my hands for you because I know that my time will come. Whatever that you are wearing that looks so glorious on you, if you are wearing a nice suit and with a Santiago shoe, a shoe made from Italy, if you are nicely dressed and I am not nicely dressed today, I know that me too, my time will come. Listen to me, if you have a baby and I don't have a baby, I am not jealous of you because I know that my time will come. Anything that you are seeing today, you always have to know that we are dealing with times and seasons. Maybe you are seeing me preach today, tomorrow your time will come. When I used to be in Ghana, a man said something, and when the man said the thing, prophet, he said he used to sit in plane, and when he sits in a plane, as a matter of fact, he's trying to say he has been sitting in plane. Daniel, that his backbone ached him. If I speak, do you hear me? He has been sitting in a plane until his backbone ached him. So Kwame, I looked at this man who says he has sit in plane and sat in plane until his backbone aches him, and I'm like, who do you wouldn't? Me me stable and I enter to Kumasi self. I will sit in it. I want to sit in the plane. No matter what, I just want to sit in the plane. Well, I didn't know a time is going to come. Even when you tell me, you see, to put my life, I'm telling you, and to put my life on that plane, 6 hours to come here. No. I can tell you, it took a lot of things to release me to come here. I was going to America to preach in America, to preach in Virginia. I told the pastor, I said, you know what? I have to sit on a plane from Amsterdam 9 hours to America, my back. And then also, at some point, I need to get up and then walk in the plane about 30 minutes. No, I'm not doing that. You know that thing? For her to be burning to preach with a microphone, you get to a point. I'm like, I want to stay. I want to stay with my family. So anything you see, your time will come. Come on, shout it. Say, my time will come. So if it's people getting married, your time will come. There is nobody that's going to play a drum forever. A time is coming, somebody will sit there and play the drum. There's nobody that's going to play a keyboard forever. A time is coming, somebody will play. You see, and God will take you from playing a keyboard to become a preacher. No, seriously. So, in this book, I've been talking about time. Behind the book, I talked about his timing. Somebody shout God's timing. Now, watch this. You have a watch, but God don't have a watch. Maybe now on your wrist you have some nice Rolex watch. But God don't have a watch. But when you say, Onyankopon only time, only Rolex watch. But I can tell you, say, Onyankopon on your mistake, I want the time home. And only watch because he's a spirit. God don't have a watch because he's a spirit. But God never misses his time. God don't have a watch, but his timing is always right. I pray that may the time of God never miss your life in the name of Jesus. Anything God has said about you tonight, I see it come to pass. Receive it in the name of Jesus Christ. Oh, it is your time. It is your time. It is your time. May you receive your season and your time in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Receive it in the mighty name of Jesus. Oh God, may our time dawn on us. May our time descend upon us in the mighty name of Jesus. I see you walk in your time. I see you walk in your season. Receive it in the mighty name of Jesus. I see you prosper. I see you make it. I declare in the mighty name of Jesus that although your beginning may be small, your end shall be great. I see you shining. I see you run through the troop, and I see you leap over walls. May the power of God and the grace of the Almighty God be upon you in the name of Jesus Christ. You shall not fail. You shall not fail. You shall not fail. You shall not fail. You will not fail in the name of Jesus Christ. If you believe that, clap, shout, scream like your voice is yours. Shout like you are alive. Somebody shout, God's time is the best. Come on, shout and say, your time is the best. Lord, your time is the best. If you watch closer to this book, you will see that you will see a watch on it. And as you see the watch on it, I'm talking about time. Behind the book, I talked about his timing. In this book, I'm just introducing a book to you. I'm not preaching yet. In this book, chapter 1 of the book, I talked about waiting on God is hard. Why? So you receive a prophecy and receive a prophetic word, and the thing have not come to pass. You are wondering why. Watch this. We prophesy, and when it comes to prophetic, we have seen the prophetic and walk in the deluge of the prophetic. As I'm speaking to you now, next month I'll be in Amsterdam with Prophet Ajman Prempe and my spiritual father, Reverend Isu Anaba. And then there's going to be an ambushment program whereby you will see the prophetic and hear the prophetic. But the thing is that, what do you do when you have received a word and the word is not coming to pass and you are waiting? What do you do? Because in that, the enemy intentionally to frustrate you in the time of waiting. No. Waiting upon the Lord is not an easy thing. They said you marry. It is 5 years now. You are still not married. They say you are a businessman. But look at you. You are broke more than the church mouse. They said that you are a more-time billionaire. So the thing is that the prophecy is there, but the manifestation. No. You sitting here now, if I should tell you and come shawenya, it is more than them hammer. So waiting on God is hard. Why? Chapter 2, I talked about what it is to abide in Christ. Chapter 3, I talked about when God's timing is taking long, what do I do? When God's time is taking long, what do you do? And then chapter 4, I talked about why pray. What is the purpose of prayer? Coming to stand here and doing yaba for 5 hours and you don't know what you are praying. You are praying amiss. It's noise making. No. What are you praying about? When they say prayer, we are prayed. No. You may not. We are prayed. But the thing is that praying and not knowing what we are praying about is noise making. So somebody will sit in America and the person is making millions and somebody say, why are Africans and Ghanaians always praying? Today and tonight now it's an all night, and go and check. Every church is packed and choked with people who are clapping their hands and praying, but yet they don't even know what they are praying about. And the reason is that many of you, your issue is not the demon, it's a poverty. So if I give you $20 million now, it is not demon that is disturbing you. You just need $20 million. That is your problem. It is not a demon. No. Many of the people in the church, Kokuma may give them $20 million now. I'm a prayer tongues in a change. And then the number 2 thing is that if you like, bring papaya food, and feed people. About 200 or 500 people here. You will see that the level of the prayer too will change. So what Jesus saw was that the whole thing was not about miracle, but Jesus said, okay, then let me take 2 fishes and 5 loaves of bread and let me lift it up towards heaven, and when I pray and multiply it, and when people eat food and the people's belly are satisfied, then I will say that there will be a miracle. Listen to me. Jesus worked a miracle. He prophesied. Nobody wanted to make him a king. Jesus raised the dead. They did not catch Jesus to make him a king. On the day Jesus multiplied and Jesus fed the 5,000 souls, that was the day they wanted to make Jesus a king. Listen to me. May God bless you so that you take care of the homeless in the name of Jesus. May God bless you to feed somebody in the mighty name of Jesus Christ. I am looking for a Christian who can take care of a child. I am looking for a believer who can feed somebody. I am looking for somebody whom Jesus said, when I was hungry, nobody fed me. Jesus said, when I was in prison, nobody visited me. Jesus said, when I was naked, nobody clothed me. I don't care how much tongues you can speak, but if you can take care of the poor, if you can take care of the sick, if you can take care of somebody on the street, you are the Christian. You are somebody that is doing the will of God. I pray for you in the name of Jesus Christ, and that God give you the grace, and that God give you the capacity to take care of people and feed people in the mighty name of Jesus Christ. Somebody shout yes. Somebody clap if you are here. And if you can shout, I want you to shout. So, waiting. Why pray? What is the purpose of prayer? Chapter 5, I talked about how is Jesus our mediator. Chapter says, why should I spend time alone with God? Now somebody say quiet time. I'm still on just one book and introduction. Why should I spend time with God? Spend time with God alone. Chapter 8, I talked about. No, chapter 7 is what was God doing before creation. What was God doing before creation? Chapter 8, I talked about God's love is really unconditional. Is God's love unconditional? Chapter 9, I talked about, does God hear my prayers at all? And chapter 10, I talked about, how can I clear my conscience? Your time is the best, oh Lord. It's a book you should read. Then I have a book here. Let me talk about this one. I have a book here. The title is Take God Serious. Turn to someone and tell the person, take God serious. No. Tell somebody, take God serious. Tell somebody sitting beside you, take God serious. Tell the person this year, take your God serious. Now in this book, watch this. In this book, I tell you, Daniel, in this book, last year I took it to Virginia. By the time I got to Virginia to preach out of this book, the whole of 1 week in Virginia, the book was already sold out. Then when I left Virginia and went to New York to preach in the Bronx, the book was sold out. I'm using the book sold out because people already bought them. And then they put me on a television set in Bronx, and I was talking about this book. You see, this book, Take God Serious. You could see how thick it is. And I took time in writing this. And I wrote some things in this book, man. In this book, chapter 1 of this book, I talked about why we need Jesus. Chapter 2, I talked about the way God sees us. Chapter 3, I talked about the importance of holiness. Chapter 4, spiritual warfare, the battle in your mind. Chapter 5, I talked about watching well as Christian. Now, this book, the whole of the time that I was in Virginia and I came to New York, watch this. I preached only the chapter 6 and the chapter 7. Tonight, I'll be preaching from one of my new books, How to Hear from God. But on Sunday morning, I will preach from this book, Take God Serious. And I'll be preaching the chapter 6 to you. And the chapter 6 of this book, the chapter 6 of this book is, do I have a demon? Knowing the spirit that controls you as a Christian. No. When the people are sitting in church, you don't know the spirit that is controlling you. Just because I am a pastor, watch this. If you see a voodoo man, a juju man, it is a spirit that's operating you. If you see a palm reader, it is a spirit that is operating through him. Watch this. Watch. It's the same way, if you see a prophet or a pastor, it is a spirit that is speaking through the pastor and operating in the pastor. But you that you are sitting here, what spirit is operating in you? So you can have leaders and you don't know the spirit controlling them. You can have prayer warriors and you don't know the spirit that is controlling them. You can have instrumentalists and you don't know the spirit that is controlling them. I'm telling you, you can have ushers. You don't know the spirit that is controlling them. Because if you are flowing together in the spirit, there shouldn't be any chicky in the spirit. If the media team is following and flowing with their leader is flowing